Welcome back to our Out of the Park 26 Brewers Sim. We are here November 29th, 2027. Free agents have just filed. So we are, the offseason business is about to pick up. We are coming off a 90-win season where we made the postseason and trying to keep that ball rolling. We're postseason 2 years in a row, but want to take that next step. And I've made a few moves. I think the theme of them is if you have budget room, use it. Like pay players if you think they're a good fit for you. Let's get into it. So I did make, let's go back to, I think we need to go back to October here. Yeah, so we signed a few contract extensions. Thero Estrada signed him to a 2-year deal, $15.4 million. This is one that some of you might be like, what are you doing, bro? It is a vesting option. You're needing 490 plate appearances, and he's a righty who's mainly just going to play against lefties. He could end up getting to this, but if he gets to this, it means he's having a really good season and playing around like multiple positions or filling in somebody's hurt. So basically, I'll only let him get to that if I want to keep him around. I mean, I claimed him off of waivers, right? So I just gave a guy that I claimed off of waivers in July $7.7 million per year. And he also hasn't been that great in the sim. You can see 25, not great. 26, he was terrible in Colorado of all places. And then 27, he wasn't good with nets, and he came and he was good with me. And what's weird is it wasn't even BABIP driven. It was slug driven. He hit 7 bombs randomly. But essentially, I had the budget room. I wasn't going to be making a huge splash with a huge contract this offseason that I need to hoard a bunch of the budget room for. He fills a really big hole for us in that he gives us, he can be like a backup shortstop in a pinch, but he's also an insurance plan for second base, which is a bit of a question mark for us right now. We have a couple options that are lefties, but he gives us an insurance plan. He can play third base too. He can play left field. He can be right field. So it's normally I would be no, man, you can go to free agency and I'll probably be able to get you for 1 year, $3 million because nobody will sign you in February, but I didn't want to take that risk. And whatever, it was worth giving him another $4 million when I had plenty of budget room in order to not take that risk. So it's just, I think sometimes I, as well as many of us who play this game, I don't know, I tend to not want to do a deal like this because he's not worth it. I can get a better deal. I can get a cheaper deal, but I guess bird in hand better than 2 in the bush kind of thing. I just decided to spend the money that I knew I had. Then brought back Will Vest on a 2-year deal, only $4 million per year. So if it doesn't go well, not a big deal, but lost a few guys out of the bullpen. He pitched pretty decently for us last year. 2.68 ERA, 3.53 FIP, and he's willing to come back on a cheap deal that doesn't really hurt us that bad. Here's an interesting one. Mackenzie Gore, who we traded for last offseason, and then he ended up, what did he have? A torn UCL. Missed the whole year, didn't throw a single pitch for us. He was willing to come back on what I think is a very reasonable deal for a guy who could pitch in the middle of a rotation. 2 years, $19.5 million. Would have loved to have given him a 1-year prove-it deal. He just was not willing to do it. Was not even willing to consider an option year. He was just nope. He wanted 3 years, and I got him down to 2. And I just feel this is a good contract, a good risk to take. Yeah, I just think this is a reasonable deal to give to a guy who has some upside still, and has pitched decent, 25 and 26. He wasn't amazing, but I think he's just adds a certain floor to the rotation, right? Just trying to accumulate enough good arms to get through a season, when you might have injuries. So that was the thought there. So Gore, Vest, and Estrada all re-signed before they got to free agency. They were all pending free agents. Then made some trades just to clear out the 40-man of guys who I was not going to have back next year. So traded Jonah Bride, who had been kind of a utility first base, third base guy for us. He'd been okay, a little below league average, around league average. He was fine for a bench bat. We got 25-year-old Henry Baez, who hasn't really panned out here, but had a decent season in Double-A as a 24-year-old with a 3.78 ERA. So worth taking a shot on for a guy who I wasn't going to use on my Major League roster next year, and also got Isaiah Lowe, who is a 24-year-old extreme fly ball pitcher, but a starter who, well, he was a starter through 2026, and then last year went to the bullpen, has really struggled in high A, but we'll give him a chance here. Since he's 24, I'm going to put him in double A and just say sink or swim. This was just like, can I get anything for Bride rather than releasing him? And I did. Garrett Mitchell, this one was a little bit like center field is not a settled position for me, I guess I should say. But I wasn't sure about paying Mitchell. He had 1 year left before free agency. Paying him $7 million. That's Estrada money. We all know that is Estrada money. That's a lot of bucks. 2 to 3 more months he's out with that torn ACL. He wasn't doing it for us last year. Now, but he also wasn't doing it with the glove. And the year before in center, he has not been a good center fielder in this sim. So it was just you don't really, despite this 70 outfield range according to OSA, 65 MyScout. So it's man, if you're not playing an elite center field, you can't hit like this. So, yeah, dealt him, got Hayden Birdsong. Oh, also dealt okay minor league starter who I didn't really see a great future for in our organization. Got back Hayden Birdsong, who I think has some ceiling here. I think he out options and he's got 1 option year left, so he'll compete for a spot in our bullpen. If not, he'll be at AAA. He's 26 now, and he pitched 42 innings last year and was okay with the ERA, 3.64 ERA to 4.34 FIP. Strikeout to walk ratio wasn't great. Those walks are a little high, but could be an arm that we have around this year to go up and down when we need him, and maybe if we can unlock the next level, he can be something a little bit more for us. Low work ethic, we'll see. And we also got Blake Gillespie, who is another just kind of arm who's older for the levels he was pitching at. We're just basically this is just buying some, don't want to call them lottery tickets, but buying some depth for our minor league system, and maybe 1 or 2 of these guys pops up enough that they can be a decent reliever for a few years, right? I don't know. I was giving up guys that I didn't really have any use for anymore. So getting back some minor league arms who are 24, 25, 26, who might be able to contribute to the major league team seem worth it to me. We brought back Nick Castellanos. He had a $1.5 million buyout on a $5.6 million deal, so it basically cost us $4.1 million to bring him back, and that seemed worth it to me. Do I love having Castellanos who can't play the field, really? I mean, he could maybe play right field. What did he do last year? It was bad, right? 43 games in Pittsburgh, minus 4 point. Yeah, not great. Not great. Yeah, I mean, look at these years he was in Philly. That's pretty ugly in 25 and 26. But we needed some right-handed thump, and we'll see how much thump he has at this point in his career. He's been okay, but for if it doesn't work out, it's $4.1 million. We can release him. We can bring in another bat at the trade deadline or something and replace him. It's not the end of the world. We're not eating $10 million per year for the next 3 years if it doesn't work out. It's worth the risk, I think, to see can he be a platoon bat who just DHs against lefties, platooning with Yelich. So we'll see. And then we signed a bunch of guys in arbitration. Traded DJ Hers because he was out of options, so he was probably not going to make my team. So we traded him to Chicago and got back Nick McLean, who was a decent-looking outfield prospect who ripped it up in Double A last year in a small sample. Bunch of auto renews, not a ton of stuff here. Buehler, Carson Kelly, Morejón, and Varsho all became free agents. I don't think any of those are huge surprises. Varsho just at 31, we just weren't going to be doing this. Can't do that at 31. Morejón, we just figured, he had a really nice year for us. He finished 3rd or 4th in reliever of the year voting, but figured we could get somebody on a shorter or cheaper deal. He served his purpose. Maybe, if he floats out there long enough, maybe. Carson Kelly, we don't really need anymore. He just he was upset that he wasn't in the starting lineup. Didn't need to keep that energy around the team. And then Walker Buehler, I mean, he was great. He was great for us. 3.6 WAR, 3.33 ERA, 3.14 FIP, 17.8 strikeout to walk percentage. But at 33, he'll be 34 in July. Like, we weren't going to be going 6 years, 20 plus million on this guy. Maybe if we were like the Dodgers, maybe if we had a budget they wanted forever, see if we could get him at that price for like 3 years. But we just can't afford that. So we got to pick and choose who we give out those types of contracts to. And like 30, how old this is? Yeah, 33-year-old pitcher is not on the list of guys I would give that contract to. So where does that leave us? So Jefferson Caro is back as our catcher. I think Mike Bovee is back as our first baseman. Second base is where it's a little interesting. Bryce Terang had the miserable season with the 63 WRC plus. If he can just get back to being this 92, 90-ish guy with the WRC plus, like, and puts up really good defense, that's good. I've thought about trading him, and I looked around for some deals, but like, I just think I think he's like a solid enough player that like there's a good enough chance that he'll bounce back that I didn't think the deals I was being offered were worth it. It was all prospects, and there were some decent prospects. It was like, man, like, we're trying to make the postseason for 3 years for the third year in a row. We're trying to take another step forward. Like, if Bryce Terang can bounce back a bit, and he's back to number 0, by the way, sports fans, your jerseys are all current again. If he can bounce back like that, I think that's a bet worth taking. It might not work out, but like, I wasn't like I was getting can't miss prospects for him. I'd be like, oh, I can't believe I held on to him. Like, it'll be all right. Alec Boehm obviously will be back. Now, Alex Boehm put up 2.7 WAR for us. He put up 2.9 the year before, so pretty close. But he did it kind of differently. Not as good with the glove. I mean, better with the glove, but not as good with the bat. 2.7 WAR for $20 million a year is not bad for a free agent signing. But we didn't pay him to do it with the glove. We didn't do it with the bat. This team is good enough with the glove. And, I mean, a lot of it was BABIP, which, the Brewers park brings up home runs, which you can see there. He hit more home runs, but his slug was about the same because his on base was down, his average was down, his BABIP was down, because it does suppress all other types of hits a bit. So hopefully it was just a one-year aberration and not the ballpark being a bad fit. Hopefully we haven't locked ourselves into a guy who's going to barely be league average with the bat. But, I mean, we could survive this contract. Well, hopefully he can hit like a middle-of-the-order bat for us. Joey Ortiz will be back at shortstop. Left field will be Chiriyo. We'll come back to center field in a second. Ramos, and then Yelich platooning with Castellanos. I think Chris Stanfield inherits center field with Garrett Mitchell gone. You can see the 70 outfield range. I mean, OSA agrees. He did put up 12.6 positive zone rating in AAA last year in just 79 games. The bat, a bit of a question, I think, more than the glove, obviously, but he put up 6.9 nice WAR between, I didn't realize that he was an A. Oh yeah, but between AA and AAA, put up 6.9 nice WAR, 159 WRC plus in AA, 110 in AAA. He walked as much as he struck out. I think it's time to give him a chance, Chris Stanfield. I mean, we don't have a great contingency plan in center field. We've got a couple contingency plans, but center field is one area I don't feel amazing about. But let's go ahead and show you some of the other guys who are probably going to be on the roster or in the mix. Sal Frelick has one more option year left. He hasn't gotten a huge chance in Milwaukee during this sim. I mean, I guess in 2025 he didn't do anything with it, but bad in very limited appearances in 26 and 27. He's got the 65 outfield range. I don't know, that's what my scout says. I don't know that I would trust him in center, but he could maybe fake it out there for a bit if you had an injury. And he's got a competent enough bat. So he's in the mix. Dylan O'Ray will be in the mix. Number 48 prospect in baseball. He got 73 plate appearances last year, just the 10 WRC plus. Was league average in AAA after making the leap from high A, where he dominated the year before. He can play all over the field, including center field, where he's got the 65 outfield range. Not sure I'd want him out there regularly, but I mean, ideally this guy is at second base. But so he's like Terang insurance, but he's also Stanfield insurance. So he'll be in the mix, trying to make the team. I don't know if he will or not. Depend on health, depend on other things we do this offseason. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. So And our backup catcher as of right now is Jason DeLay, who had a nice season in AAA with 2 WAR, 105 WRC plus. Very good framer, and he's humble, of course. And yeah, so he is out of options. So we'll see. I've got some possible other plans for catcher. I'll show you in a minute. Pitching side of things, Taj Bradley, who got some Cy Young votes after his 3.1 WAR, 4.5 R WAR season. He's probably our number one guy now. Dylan Cease, yeah, we need Dylan to bounce back to his 2026 level for sure, no doubt. The home runs was a big difference here. Strikeout to walk ratio is really not that much worse. So I've got some hope that he can bounce back. He's got 3 years left on this 5-year, $91 million deal that we did not sign. That could be painful at the end, but we'll see. We need him to pitch at least like a number 2, number 3 guy. And then Gore, Peralta, Ashby. I might sign, if I can find a starter for a reasonable price, I might do that, and to bump Ashby to the bullpen just to, like, again, it's about that depth, right? Because like, if I knew like these, if injuries weren't a thing, I'd be like, sure, I'll go into the season with these 5 guys, no problem. But you need some depth when there's injuries bound to happen. The bullpen we've got offers out to a couple of relievers. I'll show you in a minute. Dikembe Sanchez was not great in his first taste of Major League Ball ERA-wise. FIP was almost 2 runs better. Strikeout to walk ratio is outstanding. BABIP was high. I mean, this guy could be a really, really good stopper for us. Got the 30 stamina. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. I think I'm gonna go in. I'm not gonna spend closer money out there on the free agent market. I think Sanchez is gonna go in as our stopper. Uribe had 27 saves for us last year. I think 27 of 31. I don't fully trust this control. He wasn't lights out for us, but he was good. I think Sanchez and Uribe as a 1-2 punch at the back end is like really solid. Then Dylan Lee, Vest, McGee, Paguro, Gasser, all these guys, McCarty, Mizorowski, Birdsong, they'll all be in the mix, but I'm trying to bring in a couple more dependable, reliable arms just to give us more depth. So let me show you. I have a bunch of minor league contract outs. One is Brock Burke. We need another lefty in the pen. Brock Burke was really solid last year in New York. And he was good he wasn't bad in Cincinnati either, but really good in New York. So we have a 1-year, $4.54 million offer out to him. And then Kevin Ginkel, who has been solid as well. He had a 1.96 ERA, 2.73 FIP in New York last year across 46 innings. And we have, a 1-year, $3.8 million deal out to him. Then a bunch of minor league deals to veteran guys who have kind of tanked or fallen off just to add more depth to our AAA team. And, of course, Trevor Rogers. Got to go throw him a minor league deal. This is just, Trevor Rogers, real life 2025 Cy Young vote getter. Go check the down ballot votes if you don't believe me. Orioles ace, future Orioles Hall of Famer Trevor Rogers. We do have, where is it? Is it Trevino? I have a minor league offer out to Trevino with that one of those that's like it's like $1 million and he can opt free agent so we don't promote him within 30 days. With the 75 framing and captain, Dylan O'Ray is our only captain and he might not make the team. So Trevino would replace DeLay as our backup catcher, quite possibly. So no, I don't think there's gonna. I've messed around with like some possible trades like Terang, Frelick. I looked around at trading Dikembe Sanchez because people are willing to give up decent things for him, but like I've got high hopes for this guy at the back end of our bullpen for the next several years, and we'd have to go out and replace him. So I don't think any huge moves are coming. But I will just mess around a bit more, look around at the free agency, and then jump right back into the free agent market here. We're at the winter meetings now, and I know I said like probably won't be any big moves, and I think that's still possible, but just wanted to kind of bring you guys into some of the like noodling around type of things I do to look for trades and show you some trades I'm considering. This is one with the Cubs that is really tempting, but there's like a really wide range of outcomes here for how this trade could work out for me. The centerpiece that I'd be sending is Dikembe Sanchez, who I think, he's got the 30 stamina. OSA also sees him as a 30 stamina. Maybe you could find a way to stretch him into, a follower or a guy who can give you 4 innings, right? And he'd probably be really good at it. I think there's a decent chance he could be one of the best relievers in baseball as soon as this season. I don't think it's a sure thing. I think there's a chance he settles in as a solid setup guy for his career. It's a chance he blows out his elbow, right? Like, it's all just like, there's no set outcome here. And this is kind of like how I view it, right? Like, okay, there's like a 10% chance he does X. There's like a 30% chance he becomes Y. It's not like I look at this profile, I'm just like, cool, yep, he's my stopper and he's going to be a great stopper. I think that's the most likely outcome. Look at this strikeout to walk ratio last year in 27 innings. Look at it coming up through the minors. Like, the dude has a really good future. And I think bullpen pieces are important. I also think bullpen pieces are the most replaceable parts of your roster. That's not to say you should skimp on the bullpen. That's not to say that a bullpen can't be the difference between a good and a great team. Like, all that is true, but also, like, if you have a guy who's just giving you an inning or two at a time and you can get a lot of value for him, generally I think that's a good move to make. But there are a few pieces I'd be coming back. The prize of it would be Franklin Arias, who, this is how my scout sees him with the 65 infield range. OSA sees him as an 80 infield range, which seems more closer to how he's playing. I mean, he had a positive 13.9 zone rating in 65 games in AAA last year. He also put up a 144 WRC plus and walked almost as much as he struck out. Like, he's been a top 100 prospect. I mean, maybe he fell off the top 100, which is weird, but this bat, if he reaches his ceiling, and he's 22 with high baseball IQ, so there's a chance that he develops even further. But if he develops this bat with the glove that he's been playing like there's a chance like he's one of the best shortstops in the game like a year from now. That's really hard to find. A player with this type of potential is really hard to find. Well, not hard, really hard to acquire. I think that's true in real life and out of the park. But there's also a chance like he ends up not being any better than the guy I've got, Joey Ortiz, who is coming off a miserable 2027 season and is also in arbitration now. He's getting more expensive. So as the Brewers, it's always helpful to find cheaper replacements as guys get ARB eligible. So there's some benefit just from cost savings, but like, what if I trade, one of the possible outcomes is I trade a guy who becomes one of the best relievers in baseball for the next decade. And I get back a shortstop prospect who is no better than Joey Ortiz, and it just kind of never really reaches that next level for me. Like, that's a possible outcome here. The other thing to consider is, and yeah, with this arm, like, he could play second base, but the other thing to consider is I have Jesus Made, who is the number 4 prospect in baseball, who, should probably his best fit is second base, although he can also play the outfield. Like, we can train him up to play the outfield. So, I mean, there's a world where Arias ends up blocking Made, right? I don't think that's really all that possible, but there's a world where Made becomes a center fielder and he's really good at it, and Arias is at second base, or Arias is at shortstop, Made is at second base, and I have the best middle infield in baseball. That's a possible outcome here. But man, like, it's just such an uncertain thing. Let me show you the other pieces in the trade. So they want Sal Frelick, who rates out really well, but just hasn't done it in the limited opportunities he's gotten in MLB. You can see, like, in this sim, like, now granted the last 2 years he's hardly gotten any chances, but he's just never taken advantage of it. He's kind of my 4th outfielder this year. He's got 1 option year left. I think is a really nice guy to have plug in if there are injuries. Like, I would have a lot of confidence in, when did he win the Gold Glove? 2024, right? I'd have a lot of confidence in having as my fourth outfielder, and if somebody went down with a long-term injury, I'd be like, cool, man, like, this is Sal's chance. But I have other guys in my organization who can do that too. So Frelick is not like a make-or-break thing for me here. Kevin Manel is the 7th-round pick from 2025 that I did not acquire. I did not draft him. He's got low baseball IQ, but high work ethic. He's coming off a torn rotator cuff, which is never fun. He pitched okay in AA last year. He's not a make-or-break thing for me. This trade for me is not about do I want to give up Manel or Frelick. It's about do I want to give up Dikembe Sanchez. I could bring in Magnus Ellerts, who looks like a good reliever. I mean, his strikeout to walk ratio is like half of Sanchez's. Like, let's not act like he could be a legitimate replacement. But he's not a bad guy to bring in. He's not a bad, like, Sanchez light. And then to provide some stability, they have Jose Alvarado, who is 32, but he's signed for really cheap for the next 2 years, so he could slot into my bullpen as well. So basically, I don't know, man. Like, there's so many possible outcomes of the way this trade would work out. And, given that I have Made coming, I think I would then have to move on from Bryce Terang. I think I'd trade him, which isn't the end of the world. He's also getting more expensive, so I am going to save money with this trade. He's never really been great with the bat in this sim. And maybe I don't have to get rid of him, right? Like, maybe Arias is, I don't know, like, production-wise, he sure looks like he's ready for the majors. But he's only had 305 plate appearances at AAA. Was he hurt last year? He tore thumb ligament. Okay. I don't know. Like, I would like to give him a little bit more time in AAA. And Made, I think, hasn't played at AAA yet because he got injured some last year. So maybe I would need to hang on to Terang and not change anything. So it doesn't, I don't know that it necessarily makes my opening day roster better. I think Arias and Made, like, there's a chance they're both up by mid-season and, like, cornerstones of my lineup. There's also a chance neither of them make a big impact in 2028. And with a team that's I'm trying to win right now, I just won 90 games. Like, I've got Bohm, I've got Chiriot, I've got Cease and Bradley. Like, we're not trying to, like, punt to next year. But it's always a balance when you're a mid-market team of, like, win now versus ensuring you have reinforcements in the future coming to continue winning and replacing your players as they get more expensive. I mean, maybe it means that Arias comes up and he's my shortstop and I trade Joey Ortiz. It's a tough one. And I don't have a decision right now. The other trade I was looking at making is a little bit safer of a trade, I think. I would trade Sanchez and then Daniel Guillarte, who is a 24-year-old infield prospect. Can he play the outfield at all? Nah, not really. And he was up for me. He got a whole 6 plate appearances last year. But, like, this is a good guy to have on your 40-man. Solid, really good in AA last year. Crushed it, and then was good in AAA as well. Pretty high BABIPs across the way there. But I think he's a utility player, maybe. Not a guy who I'm not going to stop a trade because of him, right? And get back, one guy I get back is Brooks Lee, who has just been freaking solid across this sim. And I think this would be a Terang replacement, right? And this would make our team better for 2028. Like, no doubt. Like, I think that his track record, he's a 5 to 10% better than league average hitter, which is a significant upgrade over what Terang has done. He's been more like 10% below league average. Last year he was like 35% below league average. So we're not bringing in a superstar, but we're bringing in a significant right now upgrade at second base. And he's in his first year of arbitration and he's got 3 more years of ARB. So you've got him for 4 years, a really solid starting second baseman. There's no guarantee that the guy from the Cubs, Arias, has a better career than Brooks Lee, like especially offensively. Like I think defensively, like we'll leave him in the dust, but offensively, like I don't know that he's going to end up any better than Brooks Lee. And then we'd also go back Griffin Jax, who has been a really, really good reliever over this sim. I mean, 0.97 ERA in 2026. So, I mean, yeah, just really good reliever. So this, I think this trade does make, I think, my team better for 2028. I think Jax, with his track record, could be this Dikembe Sanchez. And I think Brooks Lee is a significant upgrade given his production over Bryce Terang. I don't like this trade overall as much as the one with the Cubs, but if we're trying to win in 2028, I do like it better. So that it's tough because like I think my bias and I think the bias of a lot of us who play, and I think this is influenced by how Major League front offices work. Sometimes it's just about finding like surplus value, right? Like, and getting the most dollars per WAR. But sometimes it's just about like accumulating WAR and not worrying about like the dollars per WAR, right? Like that's what I did with Bohm. I had the budget room. I didn't need to pinch pennies. I didn't need to worry about surplus value. I just needed value. And this while the trade with the Cubs represents a lot of potential surplus value with Arias, this trade, I think, shows more overall value to the 2028 team. And that's kind of what I'm wrestling with. And I'm sure there will be a wide range of strong opinions on this. But I think there's a lot of different conclusions you can draw from these potential trades that are all reasonable. And again, I tend to look at things of like, what are the percentage outcomes that X, Y, or Z comes through from this trade? Not in certainty of like, oh, I'm getting this and I'm giving up that. It's more like I'm giving up maybe this, maybe that, getting back a chance for the best shortstop in the league, but also a chance that he's not any better than Joey Ortiz, right? So that's kind of how I frame things in my mind. The one thought I had as I was sitting here yapping is I have Jorge Polanco, who's the number 12 prospect in baseball, pitched really well in 2027 in rookie ball as an 18-year-old. Did he get hurt at all? He's out with a sprained ankle. Yes, okay. So he missed 3 weeks, not an arm injury. The last regime signed him for 4.75. I mean, high baseball IQ, like this guy could potentially be a monster. But he is just turning 19 and in rookie ball. I am wondering if I take Sanchez out of the deal, they are willing to do that. My scout is still like, no, man. See, and that's the thing is like, if I'm willing to move Polanco, I need to do due diligence and shop him around because like every team, he comes up. When I do make this work now, every team wants him. And I don't just want to, but well, let me say this. I think Polanco is way further away than Arias, and this doesn't hurt our 2028 team very badly, and it potentially improves it. Potentially. I don't think I need like to take on Jose Alvarado now. Let's see. And I don't think, can I take Sal Frelick off here, you think? Yeah, see, this is where it gets like, just like, what's that? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia scene where he's got like the bulletin board with all the dots connected. Like, that's what I feel like. We're like in a beautiful mind right now. There's just so many different freaking possibilities. I don't know, man. Polanco, I generally am not big on pitching prospects. I mean, like, I just think they're so risky, and any 18-year-old prospect is super risky. He has continued to gain velocity. His stuff potential has dropped, which is not really all that uncommon in out of the park of a player this age. But like, I'm curious, like, So Arias, he came up as a prospect and shop prospect. So I'm just wondering, like, I mean, like, if Arias is the guy that I want, because, like, there are going to be, I mean, a lot of really good players out there. If I'm willing to move Polanco, I don't think I can just, like, make that Arias trade and lock it in. Like this guy is way closer to the majors skill-wise. For some reason, he hasn't pitched above A ball, but, like, I think this guy could probably pitch in Double A right now. Yeah, well, maybe high A. Maybe he's not that much further along. Drew Burris, out of the park legend. See, like, this is just, like, the rabbit holes I go down, dudes. Like, where sometimes just like, you know what? Just got to shut it down and go the team I've got, because I could just do this all day where I try to find ways to make my team incrementally better, a little bit better, take a risk. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I think the most likely outcome is that I sit tight. I think that's the most likely outcome here. Man, but that guy's a reliever. Now I could see, like, what are the best shortstop prospects I can get for him. Since Arias, I'd be bringing him in as a shortstop prospect. Oh, I was calling him. No, it is Arias. Rojas is their other guy. Never mind. Sorry. Thought I'd been calling him the wrong name the whole time. Yeah, dudes. And Grady Emerson is probably pretty nice looking. Ooh, first overall in 2026. Wow. Yeah, so I'll noodle around some more here and come back and update you guys. I do want to, and I really can't wait for several of you to just have really strong opinions about this in the comments. I thought it'd be fun to take you through my thought process just because, kind of getting in the weeds there. But the off-season center, I want to show you some fun things that have happened. Dalton Varsho went to the Angels, so he's no longer with us. 5 years, 17.6. We just weren't going to be spending that money. It's a reasonable deal, reasonable sum of money for the Angels to spend on a guy who's going to be a Gold Glove center fielder. Adley Rutschman is no longer with the Orioles. He signed a 7-year, $235 million deal to go up I-95 just about 90 minutes to Philadelphia. He's been a monster in this sim. Would be super cool if the real-life Orioles got 4.7 WAR from Adley Rutschman in 2026. I would be in favor of that, for sure. Walker Buehler went to Texas for 5 years and $83 million. I mean, he had a great season for me, but no way I was giving him that deal. William Contreras, he hit the market, and I thought about jumping in to bring him back. You can see he had the bounce-back offensive year, but I just wasn't willing to jump in at 6 years. Even that, like, that's a really reasonable average annual value. But, like, with Caro in place, I just didn't feel like I needed to spend the budget room there. It was interesting to me. It looks like they're planning to play him at first base, which is a choice. Pablo Lopez went to the Dodgers. I'm sure they were pitching starved and just had to get him. Walker Buehler, Dalton Varsho, any other multi-year deals? Not huge ones. So this one, here's a really interesting one. Ronald Acuna Jr. is the free agent. And so I think it was like an option year, right? Yeah, they voided the option year, the Braves did, and then he rejected the qualifying offer. And I think I showed him in a previous episode, like, he was just awful last year. And the thing that's concerning is he had a significant back injury. Herniated disc in his back in 2026, missed the rest of the season, and then he's also missed time with a sprained ankle, and then came back and was just really bad last year. So, like, is he ever going to be the same? It's possible, like, the answer there is no, because that back injuries with hitters in this game really can tank them. Went 7 years, $20 million. So, like, what, I don't know, would you come in with like a 5-year, $16 million per offer? I don't really know if it's like, there's a chance you get an MVP year from him, but there's also a chance like he's below league average, and we already have Chiriot and Ramos in our corner outfield spots. Now we could always like bump out Yelich and make one of them a DH, but I don't think this one's worth the risk to us. But man, if I was a bigger market team, I'd be all in on trying that out. Like playing a high upside play here, and super interesting that he's out there. Reynaldo Lopez does not have any teams interested, which isn't surprising since he's out for the entire year and wanting a 7-year, $25 million deal. Sorry, man. Like, I'd bring you back on like a 2-year deal where I could get you 1 year for cheap and then keep you, I'd get 1 year of pitching out of you. So that was the Acuna thing was what I wanted to show you guys. I don't think anything else really major. Brock Burke did come in. And I rescinded the offer to Ginkel. I scouted him and his velocity dipped, and I was like, nope, do not need you this bad. I put in a low offer to Sir Anthony Dominguez to see if I could get him as bullpen depth. I think that's the only stuff that's really happened. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll play through the winter meetings here, come back and wrap up the episode. I am right now leaning towards not making any of those deals. Both are tempting for different reasons. The Cubs one, because I could get like potentially a perennial all-star shortstop by just giving up a reliever. And the other one, Brooks Lee would be a significant upgrade at the weakest position on my roster, and I could bring in Griffin Jacks to where like I don't even really lose anything in the bullpen either. And then I would have Bryce Terang to trade to try to get something for him. Like, that one's really interesting to me, to be honest with you. Maybe I should trade like Sanchez. Maybe I should make the trade with... All right. Hold on. Sorry, I was about to... Maybe I should like make this trade with Sanchez for Lee, basically, and Jax. And then, I'm kind of enamored with Arias here. And then, like, I don't need this dude. And then trade Polanco and Frelick for Arias. I don't know. Like, that actually... I mean, I'm giving up a lot here with Polanco, but, man, I really like Arias. Like, I really like having a guy that, like, it's like, oh, he can play my middle infield for the next decade, win multiple gold gloves, and maybe have a really good bat, too. And if he has a league average bat, he's putting up, like, 4 or 5 WAR because of his glove. Oh, maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I'll think about this and come back and wrap the episode and let you guys know what I decide. So Franklin Arias is now a member of the Brewers organization. I really like this player. I recognize that like none of his tools with the bat are like Hall of Fame tools, but coupled with his glove, like I think this is the type of player who's really hard to acquire. And also, like, just admittedly, like, I am biased towards liking these type of players and wanting to acquire them. And I really went back and forth on the trade, and I'll show it to you in a minute. And, like, because I really hesitated to give up what I gave up. But ultimately, it's just like, man, I really like players like this. A guy who can play a gold glove shortstop. Now, I know my scout says he's only 65. OSA does say he's an 80, though. And he also put up the plus 13.9 zone rating in 65 games. And then he's killed the ball everywhere. Last year he was in AAA and he missed some time with a thumb injury, but he put up a 144 WRC plus and 305 plate appearances as a 21-year-old in AAA. So yeah, some of my, and like he almost walked as much as he struck out, like I said before. Some of this is that I am enamored with his performance, but I also think like you can see it in the profile too. And I just have a hard time not acquiring a player like this once I have the chance to. I know his overall is only a 50. His highest potential tool is only a 60 with bat. So I get it if somebody else isn't as into this guy as I am. But again, like my bias is I love players like this and I like acquiring them. So he was the headliner on my end. On the other end, I did give up Jorge Polanco, the number 12 prospect in baseball. And again, like my bias showing here, right? Like I gave up the number 12 prospect in baseball, and the main guy I got back is no longer a top 100 prospect. He's fallen out of it, but and they have him in AAA. I don't think he's going to stay there. I would be pretty surprised if he stays in the International League. I mean, good luck to you if you keep him there. But very young, raw pitching prospects are just not my preferred type of player. Like I think I cash in that chip a lot. But there's value in it for sure. This guy could go on to win 4 Cy Youngs, but there's so much risk in this profile that I was willing to cash in this chip to get a guy like Arias. But I actually think you guys, you might like some of the other guys I got too. Now I did give up Sal Frelick, who again looks like he has the tools, but just hasn't put it together at the major league level. And he's 27 now. He's going to be 28 in April. It's his last option year. He's about to move into arbitration. I was just ready to move on. I had other guys that could do this job, and I was not going to let Sal Frelick be the difference between this trade happening or not. And then Daniel Guillarte, who showed you before. I mean, he's fine. He's probably going to be a utility player for him. They have him listed as a third baseman. Yeah, it's probably where he's best suited. This lack of power, I don't know. I think he's a bench bat. I think he's a bench player. Might have a season or two where he pops up, but not that worried about giving him. I did get back a top 100 prospect, though. Jason Bayless, who he's pretty much a DH, which is tough to, you have a 22-year-old, yeah, he's always going to be DH, but holy crap, look at this bat. Now, my scout is much higher on him than OSA. OSA has him as an extreme development risk, only 25 right now overall, and, look at, these tools are not as far along as my scout. My scout is this guy is I mean, could be one of the better hitters in the league within a year or two. Now, if we want to talk about being consistent and, with Arias, I was enamored with his stats. Bayless was drafted he was drafted 42nd overall just this past year. And he struggled in A and high A. He didn't really do very well in either level. He's below league average in both levels as a 22-year-old. That's not a great start, but I believe that this guy was a significant piece to get back as a second piece in the trade. We also go back Brett Bateman, who's 25, and honestly, he just replaces Frelick in my organization, and he doesn't take up a 40-man spot to do it. 65 outfield range, left-handed bat. I think he's fine. He's going to be in AAA, and he's insurance if we have a bunch of outfield injuries. And then we also go back Nazir Mule, who I think was a real-life early pick, right? 4th round is what this says in 2022. Control is going to be a problem here if you can't get that together. Stamina is borderline starter stamina, but I mean a 31.2 strikeout to walk percentage in 2026 with the 1.75 ERA, the 2.16 FIP. But then in 2027 really struggled in high A, and was he hurt? Oh yeah, he did. No, he just didn't pitch a lot. He was just buried on their depth chart, and he was terrible. 6.33 ERA, 6.64 FIP. So sorry as I open my water bottle. So yeah, just he's a lottery ticket. And then moving on, I also I signed Sir Anthony Dominguez as a 1-year, $2.2 million deal. He's basically going to be the 7th or 8th guy in my bullpen. And I have some optionable arms there that I could have used. I could have put McCarty, Mizorowski, McGee, or Birdsong. But he's just basically this is depth for $2.2 million because you're going to have injuries to pitchers especially. And you're going to have guys who underperform. It's just basically another depth piece for our pitching staff that if he's terrible, we'll eat the 2.2. So he's back in Milwaukee this year after we, traded him? Or did I release him? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I traded him for Jorge De Leon. Right. So he's also in. I signed a couple international free agents. I can show you. Would have been January. There was no stud at the top of this class that I was yeah, I'm going to use my whole international budget on him. But I got several solid players. Domenico Rastelli here. High work ethic, high baseball IQ. Don't love the defense, of course. Like, he's not like, I mean, maybe you can get him in the lab and get him to a spot where he could fake it at a position for you, but going in for the bat and the work ethic and the baseball IQ, I mean, just an all-around good personality here, and he was got him for $2 million, easily worth the risk there. Second biggest signing for $1.04 million was shortstop Joaquin Galliano, who probably is just like a second baseman with this profile. I can't remember if he can play. Maybe he can play some outfield, but high work ethic with possible elite contact and elite avoid K skill. So seemed like a good guy to pick up for just 1.04. And then Jose Rosales is a catcher with solid framing, solid blocking, a decent arm, and a bat that, like, I mean, I don't expect him to keep this up, but like if you had a catcher achieve this with this offense, with this defense, that's a really good player. And I got him for just $750,000. We signed Jose Trevino to be our backup catcher just because of this elite framing and captain. And so Jason DeLay, I designated him for assignment. It's really not a huge upgrade, but needed another captain on the team and did give us a little bit better catcher framing. And I'm thinking DeLay will probably make it through waivers and be assigned to AAA. That's what I'm hoping for. So that concludes this episode. We'll come back next with I don't know, probably spring training or maybe probably opening day, and let you know where the team is at. But I think this is a pretty complete team here now. Bradley, C, Score, Peralta, Ashby, and then here's your bullpen down through Gasser, the depth arms. The lineup, we still got to figure out the bench, but I think this is pretty close to what our lineup is. I have concerns about this offense, like 10,000%. I have concerns about it, and I tried to find deals to bring in a big bat, and there was just like, even like I shopped Polanco, like the pitcher I traded for Arias, trying to find a bat that could make this lineup a little longer. Because like if things, there's a lot of downside to this offense, and I think at best it's like a league average offense. But I think we can still, we've got some guys coming. The cavalry is coming. We'll get into all those prospects like Franklin Arias and Jesus Made. They're guys really close, and I think we can get by with this offense for another year. But if not, we'll adjust as the season goes on. But we'll see what spring training and opening day bring. Thank you guys for watching. We will talk to you the next episode. Bye.